Welcome to What's Now. I'm your host, Christine Napier. This is a show all about what's trending, the things people are talking about, new research products, and so much more. And today's episode, we're going to focus primarily on business and employees' health, both mentally and physically. We also are going to focus on an all-new book that many people cannot wait to read. It's the second in a series, and much, much more. But up first is workplace employees, employers. So much has changed over the past couple of years. And it turns out that employees are very concerned about tech and how it can help them in their workplace, working at home, and more. At an interesting discussion about this, let's take a look.
With the unemployment rate running at less than 4%, companies are having to dig deep and be as creative as possible to keep employees happy and productive, or they run the risk of having to train new ones. Is it really the age of the employee? Well, a new survey of over 10,000 office workers, IT professionals, and the C-suite, conducted by Ivanti, revealed what employees rely on and how they rely on tech in a big way to be productive and happy on the job. Joining us today to talk about this survey and how work life is changing in America are Ivanti Vice President David Shepard and Nick Bloom, Professor of Economics at Stanford University. Thank you both for joining us today.
Hi, thank you.
Hey.
David, tell us about the latest survey. And there's a spoiler alert here. Employees said pay and benefits were actually not the biggest reasons for their job change.
Yeah, absolutely. Apparently, it's not always about money. But look, we wanted to understand how technology shapes employees' daily working experience. And within that, we really wanted to understand satisfaction levels of that experience as well. And interestingly, the report kicked back some great numbers straight away. 70% of employees report the way they interact with technology directly impacts morale. It said 65% say they would be more productive with updated technology. And actually that figure rises to 71% if we just consider the IT team alone. And then more tellingly, 26%, so over a quarter of employees are considering quitting their job at the moment because of technology choices that are applied by the company they work for.
David, why is good technology so important to employees, and what does your company do to help employers with that aspect of business?
Yeah, look, I think good technology relates to an employee being productive, and that's what employees want to be. They want to be productive and they want to be good at their jobs. Ultimately, Ivanti, that's what we want to provide. We want to make it possible for employees to have the same seamless working experience they have with their work technology that they would have, say, with consumer technology. We have a platform that we call Neurons, which has hyper-automation technology built into it. And that, for example, will do things like it will solve issues before they've become widespread. So it increases the experience there and then. But more importantly, it actually frees up IT's time to go and work on other initiatives, maybe work on other things surrounding the employee experience. But ultimately, we believe technology is the key driver to creating that great experience for employees.
Nick, managers say that work from home is hard to get right. What do they need to consider in order to get it right?
Yes, so it's certainly hard to get right. I mean, it's a new thing. None of us were really doing this back in Feb 2020. And suddenly you've all been thrown in at the deep end. So the two things I hear from talking to, honestly, hundreds and hundreds of managers and organizations are, one is about coordination and being organized. So the story here is most organizations are setting up hybrid. They're like work from home 2-3 days a week, come into the office 2-3 days a week. And what's critical is to coordinate the days people come into the office. So when you talk to individuals, they say, look, I want to come in, not for the free bagels to use the ping pong table. I want to come in basically to see my colleagues and work with them. So to coordinate, each team or firm needs to choose anchor days. So for example, if you're going to come in for 3 days a week, say, look, that's just going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And we're going to work from home Monday, Friday. So when everyone's in, they're in together. When you're at home together. The other thing that's important is thinking about systems and security. So I've talked to, dozens and dozens of managers that have said things like, in the old days, I used to know where my employees are. They're in the office, or maybe they're out visiting clients. now have just no idea. They're working from home, but where is home? And, they could be traveling, they could be in other states and other cities. And that highlights how important it is to get security correct and systems reliable. So if you think about when someone's in the office, IT goes down, you can maybe fix it. They can maybe do stuff, with pen and paper. But if they're remote, particularly they're in another state, it's very hard for them to do anything. And so security and getting systems reliable.
And there are a lot of worries that we are headed into a recession. How will this affect working from home?
I think a recession is actually going to build work from home. So when you talk to firms, the three things they mention about why they like work from home is, one is it keeps employees happy. We all kind of like being at home, typically 2-3 days a week. Secondly, we're actually more efficient. The numbers look like people are actually more productive at home at least 2-3 days a week. And finally, it saves a bit of space, and that saves businesses money. So all of those things, keeping people happy, being productive, and saving money, are actually as important, if not more important, in a recession. So work from home is like a train. It left the station pretty clearly in March 2020, and it's definitely not stopping. And if anything, I think it's building up speed.
And where can we find more information about everything we've discussed today?
Yeah, if you go to Ivanti.com/experience, you can find the full report and much more information around everything we have talked about today.
Well, thank you so much, Nick and David. Really appreciate this important discussion about employees, employers, how they can work and feel their best, how working from home in the recession may affect that. So thanks for your time today.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.